Hello, hello, wherever you are. This is the Soul Dive. My name is Lebo and I am your host. Thank you so much for tuning in this evening. We love any time that we get to spend time with you. And today we have got an amazing lineup for you. We've got a special guest, Melonie Gobel, with us. I'll tell you more about her after this check-in. Let's take this time to do the check-in, to pull ourselves towards ourselves. This is the time to love on ourselves, to appreciate ourselves, and to just be with ourselves in that very meaningful way. Now, give yourself permission to relax, plant your feet on the ground, carve out about 5 to 7 minutes of just alone time that you can be able to do this exercise with me. Today, we're going to do a gratitude exercise. Yes, it's an exercise that opens our hearts and opens us up to being able to receive more, to being able to manifest more of the kind of life that we want to live, and to be able to, recognize the blessings that are present within our lives. If you want, you're welcome to close your eyes. Just give yourself permission to relax. Take a nice deep breath. We're going to take a few of those just to relax, to intentionally let go of all the tension in our bodies. And another nice deep in breath. And hold. And out. And in. Self permission to relax. Bring your shoulders down. Loosen your muscles. Relax your facial muscles. Relax your legs. Sink down into your seat. You can go ahead and place a hand over your heart, finding your breath, your normal breathing rhythm. Just be with your breath. It helps to close your eyes because then you tune out the in things you can see and all of that, and just be within yourself. Bring your hand over your heart, feeling the warmth of your hand over your heart. Finding your natural breathing rhythm. Finding your breath coming in, and aware that your breath is coming in. Feeling your chest rise and fall as you breathe in and out. Yes, there are thoughts coming and going. Don't give them importance. Let them come and go as they do. And bring yourself back to your breath. Your awareness of your own breath. Allow your breath to start to go a little bit slower into a more relaxed breath. Give yourself permission to completely relax. Silently or out loud, say with me, I am grateful for my breath. I am grateful for my heartbeat. I am grateful for my life. Thank you for every part of my body that works well. Thank you for my family. Thank you for my eyes. Thank you for my loved ones. Thank you for my hands. Thank you for the trees. Thank you for my immune system. Thank you for my home. Go ahead and do a few of your own thank yous. Being aware of your heartbeat, being aware of your breath, and just allowing yourself to say thank you for the things that come to mind to be thankful for. Thank you for my work. Thank you for this moment. Now go ahead and thank yourself for taking this time. Take a nice deep in-breath, raising your arms right out. And as you breathe out, bring your arms over yourself and give yourself a nice big squeezy hug. Just smile to yourself. Our friends at Black Eva Crafts have sponsored us these beautiful handmade earrings. For those of you who share, comment, like, tag a friend, and you stand a chance to win yourself a pair of these. Like, comment, and share. Hello. Melonie, welcome to the Soul Dive. How are you today?
I'm exceptionally well, thanks, Lebo. How are you doing?
I'm fantastic, thank you. I just want to give you a quick intro. Melonie Gobel is a friend. I like to say a friend because ever since we met, it's just like been like that instant thing where you meet someone and you're like, I am meant to know this person. She's a deeply spiritual person. She's a founder of Purposeful Living, and she's really concerned and lives her life and her work as a trainer, as a coach to help others to live a purposeful and life that is maximized for good performance. Welcome, Melonie. Thank you so much for
Thanks,
joining
Lebo.
us.
It's lovely. I've had the pleasure of being on the other side, listening to some of your previous very esteemed guests. So I know that I'm in esteemed company, being on the show this evening, and it's such a pleasure to be here. It's lovely. I love the airwaves. I think it's such a powerful medium. And thank you for inviting me. I'm looking forward to our time together.
Yeah. So I want to quickly talk about purposeful living. This is, I know I introduced you briefly, but I want you to expand a little bit on that. You know, I know it's something very important to you. Please talk some more about that.
Well, I believe, I had a strange belief that every single person alive has purpose uh, within their DNA. And most of us die with that purpose still there because most of us are following the script somebody else has written for our lives. Somebody else has maybe destined us to be A, B, or C. And I really believe that if we can start connecting to our purpose, that's the place of passion. That's the place of power for our lives, because it's not about work. It's not running after money. It's not running after a whole lot of things. It's literally your purpose is fueled by something that you actually can't put your fingers on. So it's really every single person has a purpose, and it's about connecting to that purpose, whatever that means, and beginning to write the narrative, the story of your own life,
Yeah,
however that is. And it's an interesting thing, and I know that you've had so many incredible, phenomenal guests on the show, but so many, I believe every single human being has a story, and part of
absolutely.
that
Yeah.
story is something they did not write. Many things. Think about when we were children, think about when we were young people. Others had a lot of control over our lives. And many, when we get to adulthood, many then stay in that mindset and as a fixed mindset to go, I'm not in control and others have control over me. And just imagine if it were not so.
Mm,
Imagine if,
yeah.
yes, I cannot change my past, but I get to
Mm,
choose how I live my present. I get to
true. Yeah.
determine what the story is from today onwards. And it's a choice we make.
Yeah.
And then it's literally daily actions that we begin to implement, not just activities. It's not being busy. I think we've all been guilty of that. We are so busy, but actually we like that hamster on that hamster wheel. We're busy doing a whole lot of stuff that actually isn't meaningful in our lives.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not going to take us closer to our dream destination, whatever that means in our lives, whether it's a relationship, whether it's for our family, whether it's for our finances, whether it's for our career, whatever that is. And I really believe that when we begin to live lives full of purpose really driven lives,
Mm, mm,
and for
mm.
each of us that's going to look very differently. But yeah, and so we do that in different ways. That may mean coaching, that may mean counseling, that may mean training, that may literally mean just coming alongside of you for part of your journey. And it's a very holistic
Yeah.
wellness space, because I might have millions in the bank. I don't, but I might have millions in the bank, but I don't have my health. I don't have, it was mental wellness day last Saturday. You can have all the money in the world, but if you're not well mentally, are
Yeah.
you truly wealthy?
It is
If
said
you
that
have
your
broken
our
down
yeah,
families.
our
Yeah.
health is
So,
our first wealth, like before we
yes.
count any other
Yeah.
kind of wealth. I want you to take us a little bit into your own purpose. Did you always know what your purpose is, or do we actually find ourselves where we're like, okay, this is the beginning, I now know my purpose, and then just love that? Or is it an ongoing thing of it unveiling and unfolding for us?
I think that is such a flippin' good question. If you think about it, do we ever really know? If I just think about conversations I've had with adult people, they still don't know what their purpose is. So, have I always had a sense that there is something special I'm meant to do? Yes, absolutely. I can remember from when I was very, very young, I had this feeling that I was born to do something special. I didn't know what that was. And it was almost like that onion. There's layers that get peeled off as we grow older, as we come into different points and discoveries in our lives, more of the
Yeah.
onion peel. And then when I got to be an adult, we always like wish, we think there's this one particular day and it's all going to like be unfold. No, the onion is still going to be unpeeled.
Yeah.
I've entered into my 50th year this year. I will turn 50 next year. I am so excited because it's like I am hopefully halfway through my life now, and I want to live. It's so liberating because it's like, wow, I've only begun to scratch the surface of the purpose. And I know for me, and again, it's for nobody else's, I know for me, I was born to help people.
Absolutely.
How that unpacks and
Yeah.
looks is very different. So if
Yeah.
I'm helping a professional athlete, that looks very different to if I'm helping somebody who's struggling with trauma in their life, or somebody who's struggling with grief, or somebody who's trying to get out of debt, or somebody who wants to, and you can fill in the blank. That's going to look very different. But I mean, just imagine, Lebo, what would our world look like if we all came to this place? We did it differently, the way we did that. But what if we came to actually help people? Bottom line, what would our world look like?
What if there was orientation in the beginning? Like you walked in and they were like, come here, you are here to do X. And then it was like,
Yeah.
yes, now go on. All right. I wanna I
Yeah.
wanna just go to what we discussed a little bit about right now we've got a lot of people going through the pandemic and the eighth month of like an uncertainty in work and
Yeah.
all of that. And I want to end up at a point where we talk about the relationship between purpose and our financial lives, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
there's something that you wrote on one of your pages on purposeful living, and I'm going to read it. It says, what consumes your mind controls your life. And a lot of times we
Mm,
find that as people, we tend to get very consumed with where's my bread gonna come from, where's this gonna
yeah,
happen next, and stuff like that. And then, I mean, how do you help a person who's just simply saying, I can't focus on my purpose right now because I really just need to get this money, this, I need to get this paper, I need to get this
yeah,
plate of soup, I need to make sure that I've got shelter over my head and food in my stomach. Like that's literally what I
mm,
can do right
yeah.
now. How does a person in that sort of space, a lot of times it sounds like you got to get to a certain point of riches to where you can go, okay, now I can
Mm,
live my purpose. Is it really like that
yes.
though?
You know what? What you have just described now is actually so true. In psychology, there was the psychologist Maslow who spoke about a hierarchy of needs. And that's exactly what you've just spoken about now. If I don't have food in my belly, I can't even begin. So you can imagine a pyramid. If my base of my pyramid, which is, and you've spoken about, you've said food, you've said shelter, you've said security, if I don't feel safe, right at the top, and there's a number of different layers, but right at the top is actually self-actualization. Another word, purpose. It's living the life you were destined to live. I can't even begin to think about purpose if I'm worried about my children not even eating.
Mm,
If I'm concerned, and just think about um, our socio-economic climate in our country, in our region, there are so many challenges at that level, the foundational
yeah,
level. So you are right. We cannot begin to talk about purpose. It's like, how do you even spell that when I don't have food to eat? How do we spell that when our children are not being educated correctly? And if I don't feel safe in my home, I can't talk about purpose. And so fundamentally, yes, if my debt is so overwhelming, or if I have, and in our communities, the alcohol abuse, domestic violence, all of these challenges are so real. Okay. And
mm,
yes, we have one of the most progressive policies, government policies in the world, but in terms of being executed on the ground level, there's some questionable aspects there. And my challenge is that as a community, we need to be addressing those issues when
yeah,
people don't know whether they're going to eat today. And
yeah,
as a
yeah,
mother, as a grandmother, I look and I go, we have to start there. So, yes, before we even start thinking purpose,
mm,
before we
mm,
start
mm,
thinking about why was I born in this world? Well, actually, do we have food to eat today? Are my children safe?
yeah,
And when I say children, it's like we know the story. It's a
mm,
village. We live in a village,
yeah,
and
yeah,
it's us as the village. We are responsible for the children. And so
mm.
when somebody's child is not safe, that's our
Your child is
children.
also not safe. Yeah, it is so
Exactly.
true.
So yeah, that's a great point level.
I'm wondering though, the struggle to actually keep we constantly upgrade our need, like yesterday it was butter on my bread, today it may be cheese, tomorrow it may be caviar, who knows. So
Mm,
the needs, the basic needs are always there, but at the same time there is also the need that if you get on that wheel as a hamster just chasing your basic needs, you're of course never going to get to that place where you're actually
yeah.
self-actualizing. But it really, does it have to be a linear process? Isn't it like a thing that can be approached holistically? I often used to hear about those mamas in the township where you give her one biscuit and she'll feed 8 children,
Yeah.
and yet
Yeah.
her financial status doesn't necessarily mean she's got a lot. It's
No.
also her mindset of,
Yes.
yes, the little that I've got, if it can cover me from today, that day to day, moment by moment kind of
Yeah.
approach to life. Because let's face it, as long as the breath is in my body, very little can actually happen to totally destroy my life. But if I am not even conscious of why this life exists, that can actually
Mm.
destroy my life, because I'll start to
Yeah.
make choices that, sell my body or do something that totally destroys my life because I'm chasing bread, but giving up this other part of me that is actually just as important. How do you approach
Mm.
it with holisticness at any level? No matter whether you are on the butter level, the cheese level, the caviar level, as it goes.
Well, it's interesting because I think if Maslow was here today, one of our basic needs would be Wi-Fi. So,
It is actually. Yeah, I don't mind if
so
there's no bread in the house. I need
yeah.
Wi-Fi.
And I think our modern children are the same, and
Yeah,
it's a joke. But that's where we've got to as society, and we prioritize. How miserable aren't we if we go somewhere and there's no Wi-Fi, there's no cell coverage, and instead of embracing that moment to say, "Woo, I'm out of space." One of your previous
yeah,
guests, Dr. Loretta Ferrucci, she's been away for this week, and it was so funny and it was so refreshing because in her Facebook post she was like, "I'm away for the weekend. For the week, I'm going to be out of communication." It's
yeah,
wonderful. You're embracing that space. So yeah, it is a joke, but actually you're right. We increase, and haven't you seen it in society when we start making more money, possibly instead of then going, okay, let me be wise with this, we actually find actually that's not enough, and then I need to make more, and that's not enough. And it's interesting because that's where maybe the greed part takes over in
mm,
terms of,
mm,
do I need do I do I need this, or do I want this? And it's nice to want certain things, and it's you know what, if you've earned it and you deserve it, all of these things, but long term, is this going to add value to your life? And I think we need to possibly use more wisdom there, not be brainwashed and indoctrinated by media. And to a large extent, that's why they pay billions of dollars in advertising and branding,
mm-hmm.
so that we will part with the money that we've earned. Um, but as society, can we begin to say, well, um, how can we contribute to maybe less wastage, or how can we contribute towards adding greater value
Yeah,
without
yeah,
me abusing, exploiting, or misusing my position on anyone else? Because we have all the resources we need in the world.
yeah,
Unfortunately, there are some
yeah.
unscrupulous people who decide their wants are far more important than others' needs, which is crazy.
I'm thinking that let's talk about the financial side, having touched on it. But I'm thinking very much that when you actually are aware of your purpose, whether you have attained it or you are living daily to deliberately go towards it or not, actually makes a difference to how you feel satisfaction or dissatisfaction with your other areas of your life. Because
Yeah.
if all the other things in your life are helping to contribute towards a sense of a purposeful life, then surely it kind of balances that whole thing of, okay, I am chasing this too much, or I'm greedy, or that kind of thing. Some of your appetites are tempered by
Yes,
knowing where you're actually going.
absolutely. Mm.
But I have you here, and you are a person who knows about financial fitness and working with that and goals and stuff like that, and I want us to get into that part of talking about that.
Before we do, Lebo, if I can give you just one very practical example. I did a lot of work on our streets a number of years ago, and something that I was absolutely fascinated by, and it alludes to something you mentioned earlier. That's how I want to bring it in to this conversation. Was there were a lot of mamas on the street with their children, okay, and they're living on our streets. And living in conditions that were really horrendous, living in bushes, living literally in drains, okay, mind boggling. And I remember once a week we would go onto the streets. A local hotel would make us our soup. We would get bread, we would butter the bread, because I was like, whatever we're going to give out, we need to make sure I would eat it, that my family would eat it. And when I have bread, I like butter on my bread, margarine on my bread. I don't want dry bread. So it was like, when you're serving other people, serve as if these were your children, serve as if
Yeah.
this was your mother, your grandmother.
Mm.
And I remember going out onto the street, and they would know we'd be at a certain particular time every week, and there would be a number of us that would go, and we would just bless people, give them a nice warm cup of soup, give them some bread, make sure they were all good, and we'd see them again next week. And it was interesting because sometimes one or two of the ladies, and there were guys as well, but my heart was really for the moms with children, because they were so vulnerable. And I remember so many occasions that somebody would arrive late.
Yeah.
And here we had given out everything. I mean, we took 50 liter buckets of soup, okay?
Wow.
And we would get 50 loaves of bread, and that would be gone. And so we would give, and if they wanted to take it and have it for tomorrow, the bread, etc., no problem. And I remember so many times when a mummy would come, or somebody would come, and we had nothing left. And the people who had received something, so they did not have a lot of stuff.
Mm.
Okay, they had nothing. Okay, but they took the little they had, those couple of slices of bread, and shared it with others who didn't have. And
Wow.
so for me, I was taught so much with my time on the street, because it was like,
Mm.
it was as if here you found a bakery with fresh bread, and you just want to share that with others, even though you've got a little. And there's an old Hebrew saying that says, let him who knows the ABCs teach those who only know the A and the B.
Wow.
And for me, that I don't know everything. And you know what? We walk in our purpose, and we walk in this space, but we're walking into almost a fresh revelation every day that we choose to do. And if we open, and this is the key issue, if I'm intentional in looking for
Mm.
opportunities to be a
Mm.
blessing. And I think if you think about it, you have this gift over the airwaves right now. You are being intentional about what you are putting out there. You seeing people struggling, you seeing people battling, and you go, hey, let's get somebody on to encourage or motivate or be practical or whatever. You are being
Yeah.
intentional in investing good stuff over the airwaves. Or you could misuse this gift that you have. And so we've got choices every single day. And I've seen it. I've
Absolutely. Yeah.
seen it daily on our streets. I've seen it in our communities. Look at our communities. There is a Makulu who may just have this tiny little bit, and yet she's so quick to
Yeah.
share it. Look at the Makulus that are
Mhm.
looking after all the grandchildren. Um, it's a very Afrocentric space in terms of community, because it's never about myself.
Yeah.
Um, and that is what is so beautiful about the community that we're living in. It's not a westernized, individualized, it's all about me. And so when we're sharing, and I know you want us to get a bit more practical now in terms of the finance, but when I'm sharing this, I'm not sharing this from a position of being better than anyone else. I'm not sharing this from a position of literally, I wish I had lots of money in the bank. I'm sharing this like those ladies on the street. I'm a beggar, and I found a place for bread, and I'm just happy to share the little that I have. And I think if
Yeah.
if you can hear my heart in that and know there is nothing, it's not about manipulating, exploiting, it's not about any of that. It's about saying, you know what? I found a little treasure, and I'm so happy to share it with you, because I'm grateful that I'm in this place. And so I love the fact that we can talk about it, that you've given us this opportunity, and hopefully we can help people with a very practical plan.
I actually am so pleased you said that, because I've just clicked onto this one thing, that sometimes recognizing your purpose as really just about the your eyes being opened to the things you are grateful for, to be able to be part of, to be able to impart to others and stuff, and then going, wow, I am being used in this way, you know. A lot of times when we're looking for the words to coin what our purpose is, we try and inspire ourselves towards the future. But it's also worth looking at everything about ourselves and being like, okay, what have I been able to express without being told, without being primed, without it being something that has to come from an external party, but just be able to express myself in that way, you know? It's a
Yeah.
gift to be able to see that someone has arrived and they didn't receive what you received, and share it. It is a gift. Not
Yeah.
everyone can see that. Some people can be sitting on a pile of everything that other people need and not be able to share it because they just aren't attuned to being able to
Mm.
see other people's needs. And I want to just encourage you that here in the Soul Dive, we see ourselves as a collective, as a togetherness, and as a oneness.
Yeah.
So, what is true for you is true for me, and what you experience of yourself is perhaps a highlight to what is possible within me. And oftentimes, when we talk, we are actually just talking to ourselves. So,
Yeah.
you are
Yeah.
in a good place. Let's talk about. I know you like gratitude. Talk
Yeah.
some more about its place in actually, you know, driving your purpose and helping you with purposeful living.
I think gratitude is such an underrated subject. And I'm going to use another true story. I love stories because I'm just such a simple person.
I love
and
stories.
and and I think even in terms of our culture and our communities that are here, we love stories, you know. And
Absolutely.
so many years ago, I was involved in an NGO. I was involved in helping in the community, and one business person came to me and said, Melanie, I can't wait to win the lotto. So I said, oh, why is that? She said, because then I'll give you a lot of money. And I don't know what she was expecting, but I gave her something she wasn't expecting because I said, do you know that's never going to happen? And she's like, why? So I said, let's be honest. I said, are you giving now? And she was like, no, but I've got nothing to give. And I said, that's the whole point.
Yeah.
You see, when we're looking at our resources,
Yeah.
and when we are gauging our ability to give only based on our physical financial resources, we will forever be poor. But when we realize that we have a gift that is worth so much more, of course, we need money. We need money to feed our families. We need money to make sure that our parents are okay. We need money to send our children to school. We need money to put gas in the car. You know, we need money to buy the shoes, not the 80 pairs of shoes, but the pair of
Yeah.
shoes that we need. I know we need money. But when we begin to realize the power of my ability to give is not hampered by my fact that I don't have very much in my bank account, wow, that's power. And what am I saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because there
Yeah.
can be a little old lady next door to me that maybe is lonely. Do you know, me just going and having a cup of tea with her and connecting with her for an hour is worth more than gold to her,
Yeah.
perhaps.
That's true.
And and think about, I am blessed to still have my mom and my dad in my life. We live very
Wow.
close together. We live 80 meters apart, or 100 meters. And I want to tell you, every single day I have a cup of tea with my mom, and this lockdown has been a gift. Now listen carefully to what I'm going to say, because I'm
Mm,
answering your
mm,
question
mm,
in
mm.
this.
Yeah.
Lockdown has been tough, but what did I say first? I said it was a gift.
Yes.
Now, that is me putting on this lens, okay, of gratitude. Because maybe we're in a tough situation right now, and most of us living in these very challenging socioeconomic times. We're living in a very volatile time in our country, with its history, with its past, with its pain. It's challenging. We are in stressful times, okay, turbulent times. But what did I say? It's a
A
gift.
gift. Yeah.
And I want to say to you, if it was based on my bank account, I would not tell you
No.
lockdown was a gift,
Yeah.
because my ability to generate an income has been completely challenged. Why? Because I used to travel for 2 to 3 weeks working all around the country
Yeah.
before lockdown. That is all stopped. Why did I say it's a gift? Because I don't place the emphasis, the priority on whether my bank balance has a great amount in it or not. Yes, I've been challenged financially, but this lockdown has been a gift. I have spent more time with my family than I have ever before. And I've realized my parents are getting older, but the gift to have a cup of tea and to have a chat with my mother every single day. My
That's
adult children
brilliant.
live
Yeah.
next door to me. My beautiful grandson, who turns 1 next month, lives 80 meters away from me. And I want to say, to see him every day, I am blessed. Yes, financially, it's been hard, but I'm blessed. So
Yeah.
I've
Mm.
changed the way I'm looking at the situation. You know why? Because we can always pay the debt off. We can always generate more money. But there's going to come a day when I'm going to say, you know what? I wish I could have a cup of tea with my mother. I wish
Mm.
that I could
Yeah.
have that conversation with my mother.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to tell you that our parents and our grandparents are gifts.
They are.
And
And
just taking
time,
that
and
time and
time. You
investing it.
can't buy time. You can never buy
Exactly.
time. You know,
Yeah.
you just, whenever we have a opportunity to spend a little bit more time with our loved ones, you cannot buy time. It's the most expensive commodity we have. And
Yeah.
to be able
Yeah.
to, and I like what you said about the gift of lockdown that we've all experienced, that yes, there is a cost to every gift. The cost has
Yes.
been, of course, you're not going to be having a caviar lifestyle right now, but you're
Yes.
going to be able to share a morsel of bread and a basic cup of tea with those that you
Yeah.
love. You're going to be able to go back to the things that are, and you know what? For a little while, we couldn't even buy the extras that we wanted to buy. It was illegal to buy anything that was
Exactly.
an extravagance.
Exactly. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
just the gift of being sort of like told by literally the universe, go back, go inside,
Mm,
sit, be with family, be with people that nurture your life and things like that.
yeah.
It's been quite amazing. All right.
And I think in years to come, Lebo, years to come, we are going to look, I'm already there, but
Mm.
there are going to be people who look back and go, oh, I wish we could go back to lockdown. I wish we could just connect on that level. And I know that sounds crazy,
No,
okay?
but it's
And I'm
true.
It is. And I'm
Yeah.
not discounting the fact that obviously we've had gender-based violence, et cetera, and the abuse of alcohol, and vulnerable women and children are also at a higher risk. I'm not saying in
Yeah.
those situations,
Yeah. Yeah.
okay, but I'm saying for families that even though the stress was maybe up and the pressure and the financial
Mm.
stress, and that's why I think you and I wanted to really share about that today, because
Yeah.
we realized financial stress implicates every and literally impacts every single area of our lives. It impacts our relationship with our partner. It impacts our
Absolutely. Yeah.
ability to send our children to school, to
Mm.
a uniform, textbooks, all of these things. It impacts my career. Why? 30 years ago, I couldn't afford to go to university. My parents could not afford to send me to university level, and I had to go and find a job. Okay. I didn't like that because I thought, you know what? I was a bit lazy at school, but I was quite a bright kid. Okay.
Mm.
So
Mm.
it was like I had the potential, but that door was not open to me. And so I, I went to work. Literally, I was 18 years old. I went to work and I worked my way up, but I thought I'm going to be the best Don, whatever I was, and I worked my way up. And I
Yeah.
want to say later on, I realized actually there's great value in education. I'd not given it priority before, and I've invested over time. I never got a ticket to go to university.
Yeah.
I've had to work, have a
Mm.
family,
Mm.
and
Mm.
study. And I want to say, you
Yeah.
know what? I'm proud of that. Yes, for a long time, it was something that I didn't quite feel good enough. Why? because
True.
I
Yeah.
felt I'm lacking something because I don't have the education. Well,
But
now that
that's,
I've got the
yeah.
education, I
Mm.
haven't stopped. I've carried on. Why? Because I want to learn new things. I want to like
Yeah.
go and explore and uncover new things. I'm so excited about that journey.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
don't let, and there are people maybe that are listening right now that have been allowing those things in their past to determine their value, determine their identity. And we go, no, you get
No
to
place for that.
change the story.
Nobody's gonna
I
change
didn't have an
it.
education. So
Yeah.
I started. I did it through UNISA because I could afford it and
Yeah.
I could work it while working. So what is it that's been holding you back? You are in charge of the story. You like the director, the producer, and the main actor, and the script writer for the story of your life. If you don't like it, you get the power to change it. And if you don't know
Yeah.
how, there are people in this world that are going to be sent to you who can help you literally one step at a time, and you can
Absolutely.
change the
Yeah.
narrative. You can change the script for your life.
No, no, we promised that we were going to talk a little bit about goals, but I suddenly realized that there's something that we don't share as often, and that is a couple of tools of self-evaluation, of basically just like, sometimes it can be overwhelming when we feel like everything is in disarray all at the same time.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
surely you've got one or two things that a person can employ in actually just self-evaluating and sort of bringing their focus into where they can sort of start to know what is the thing to act on immediately, and
Mm.
maybe the
Yeah.
next to start to get their lives into a direction that feels like they are more purposeful about it.
Yeah. Well, that is such a great question that you've posed because, and we hadn't discussed it, Lebo, but I'm going to make it available to all of your listeners and the viewers that are watching this on your YouTube channel. I'm going to make available, and we will put the link for you.
The bottom.
And if you click on the link, you just need to have an email address because I'm going to send you a free ebook. That ebook will be very specific in terms of steps that you can do, and each step. And I want to say to you, Label's also going to put the Facebook details. You can connect with us on Facebook. And the beautiful thing is that I love to help people. So, no, I'm not going to charge you. Okay. So, it's absolutely free. You sign up, you get the free book. And that will do step by step for the next 7 days. You can choose to do this every step. And what it's going to do, it's going to give you the tools. And I'm very, very happy to offer this to you. Give you the tools to say, well, we're going on a trip. We're going on when we think about a holiday. So,
Mm.
Lebo, I know that you've come from Joburg. You don't want to go to Joburg on holiday. Let's
No.
use you as an example quickly.
Seychelles.
Give me any woo woo. Where are you going?
The
Seychelles.
Seychelles, yes.
Woo woo. Okay. So we sitting in East London, Buffalo City, South Africa right now, and you want to get to Seychelles. So your dream destination, Seychelles, great dream destination, by the way. Okay. So what we have to do is, and think about this for your life, and some of the tools that you're going to get in this free book are going to go, okay, what's your dream destination? So you think Seychelles, you think financially free. Maybe you want to think, I want to work on my relationship with my forever
Mm.
partner. Maybe I want to work on my career. Maybe I want to work on my studies. Maybe I've been battling with my physical being, okay, and I want to
Yeah.
work on doesn't matter what it is. You can use the same set of skills that I'm going to be sharing with you.
Okay.
So Seychelles it is. Before I determine how do I get to Seychelles, and this is what a question I'm going to ask you, Lebo, where are you right now?
In East London.
Right. So you in East London, you're sitting at home, okay? It would be very different, possibly, if I was sitting in India. If I was sitting in Madagascar, it would be a different journey. If I was sitting in the UK, it would be a very different journey for me to get from here to my
Okay.
dream destination. And so part of it is, where do I want to be? That's my dream destination. But the most important thing is where am I
Where am
right
I
now?
at? Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
about being real. And I think that's coming back to what you
Mm,
said right in the beginning. It's we have to be authentic. We have to be real with ourselves. So if I'm deep, deep, deep in a pit right now financially, it's no good me sugarcoating it, because then my dream destination, actually, I'm working out the wrong route to get there. So in as much as we say, okay, Lebo, you're going to have to, are you going to catch a taxi, or you're going to get a friend to drop you off, or a family member at the airport? Then you're going to have to fly to Joburg. There's going to be a little transition time. Are you spending a night over in Joburg, or are you going to be able to fly straight out? Who's going to pick you up at Seychelles when you land? Who's taking you to the hotel? These are all the things that we have to work out. And exactly the same way, there's a plan, and I love it. In
mm.
Afrikaans, it's plan van actie. It's an action plan that is going to move me from where I am right now in East London to
Yeah.
my dream destination, whether that's being debt free, whether that's working on my marriage relationship or my partner relationship, whether that's fill in whatever
Mm,
blank. It
mm,
was
mm,
me
mm,
years ago when I said, I'm tired of not feeling good enough because I don't have an education. I
mhm,
want that education. I want that degree. I want that. Why? Because it was something within me, and I created an action plan to do it. So, whatever it is, it can be any sphere of your life, even a
mm,
spiritual
mm,
sphere.
mm.
You can go,
Yeah.
where's my dream destination? Where am I?
Mm,
And then you create this plan of action in
yeah.
order to get there.
Fantastic. All right. We will link that at the bottom of this video. Do you know that time has just like decided to go so fast? We had an hour. Like we had an
Wow.
hour. um, do you want to say some closing words? Also, they of course we've done a call of action that we will share that ebook, as well as just some tools that you created a very nice two-page document about setting goals and as well as setting financial goals to get out of debt. So
Yeah.
we'll share that with you as
I
well.
think, Lebo, we're going to have another program to almost unpack that getting out of debt. But I want to say, whatever it is, and this is probably one of the most crucial things. Everybody wants to get out of debt.
True.
Everybody wants an education. Everybody wants a great marriage. Everybody wants a great career. But until we start connecting it to the why, it's as if we're floundering. We are just bobbing up and down in the sea of whateverness. Okay. And
Yeah,
I really want, and I think again, this is just connecting it so beautifully with this program.
yeah,
We need to connect it to your very soul of, why is this important to me? So
absolutely.
it
Yeah.
mustn't be, I'm
Mm,
getting an education because my mother wanted me to have one.
yeah.
I
Yeah.
need to be promoted because of, it's okay, break it down. So for me, getting an education, okay, I left school. I matriculated when I was 17, and we didn't have money. And I asked my gran, and I remember it like yesterday, sitting at the kitchen table, and I loved my gran. She was one of the most important people in my life, and is still the legacy that I wish to follow. And I said to her, Gran, can you help send me to university? And she said, no, Melonie. She said, because you're a girl and you're just going to get married and you're going to have
Yeah.
babies, and an education is useless. And it pained me. I remember it. I was 16, and it pained me. I was just a girl. Now, I've forgiven my gran, okay? But that was like a negative seed that had been sown into my
Mm,
life. When I was 14 years old, there was a teacher. I didn't understand a maths theorem, and those theorems are terrible. And my mother always said, don't come to me, okay,
yeah.
because just sort it out at school, because I don't even understand what's going on. So I remember going up to this teacher and I said, could you please explain this math theorem to me? I don't get it. And she said this to me. She said, Melonie, I'm not going to explain it because you're just stupid. And again, as a 14-year-old girl, I
People were
could not
allowed to say
emote
things like that then.
feel. No, you could, because remember, adults knew everything and they were perfect, and they did everything right, remember? And I
Oh,
want to say to you, I never bothered again with maths, but and this is the critical issue. I didn't realize those two major seeds had sown this feeling of inferiority in me. So I connected my why, and this is why I'm sharing it with you. I
Mm,
connected my why to say, actually, I'm going to prove them wrong. Now, I love my grandmother, okay? Absolutely
mm,
love my grandmother, but
yeah.
I'm going to prove her wrong. It's my goal, and I'm working towards it even now to get my doctorate. So I'm going to become Dr. Melonie Gobel, okay? And I'm
Great.
on my journey towards that now. But I have it on my vision board, and a vision board is so important. And I know you've spoken about it before. And so I've got it on my vision board, Dr. Melonie Gobel. And I want to tell you that instead of allowing, and I've worked through it, instead of allowing that teacher's words, Melonie, you're stupid, to inhibit me, I've allowed that to become the drive
Yeah.
to prove
Yeah. Yeah.
actually she's wrong because I'm not stupid. And so I want to say to you, even though
Mm,
people may have sown negative words,
mm,
maybe your story got a bit messy at some parts, that can still be interwoven into the fabric of your success story. Your
yeah. So
story
true.
that
So true.
makes you a warrior.
Mm.
Your story. Listen, warriors are not pretty and all clean.
They got
Warriors are
scars,
bloody and they're
man.
full of mud and they're dirty and they're messy,
Yeah.
but they're
Yeah.
victorious. And I'm
Yeah.
saying to you, whatever it is in the fabric of your life, don't allow that to define you,
Absolutely.
because that is not what defines you. And so I know there's so much more we could share, and I've loved being with you today. Thank you just for the privilege of sharing with you. Thanks, Lebo.
Thank you so much. You are going to need to come back because
With pleasure. Mwah. With pleasure.
absolutely need you to come back. Thank you so much, Melanie, for being with us. We will ask you to please feel free to engage. We'll run the video a couple of times and tag you on it so you can engage with people as they talk about some of these things and stuff like that. But oh my goodness, it has been so refreshing. I feel like we just had like 5 minute chat, you know? So we're going to have to do it again. Thank you so much for being on the Soul Dive.
Thank you. Thank you. Look forward to it.
Have a great evening.
Take care.
Okay, bye bye.